I'm here today to give you some of my unqualified advice. I'm new to the whole entrepreneur thing. I've only been in it for a year, but I still feel like my story has value, and hopefully I can inspire at least one of you today to either move forward in your journey, or even if you're in your journey, maybe you can find some new light to make it feel new again. So, as Lucas said, my name is Kyleigh. I'm 26 and I work at Tree Frog Inc. in Newmarket. But in my spare time, I own and operate a business called We3 Collective. And We3 is basically art and anything I like to do. I try everything. I like to try woodworking. I've made yoga mat holders for studios. I make dog leash holders, watch holders, signs for events. Basically anything I can think of, anything anyone else can think of and comes to me for the idea, I try to create it for them. So that's just a bit about We3 and what I do. And lots of the time when you meet somebody for the first time, you're asked, what do you do for a living? Personally, I think it's kind of a hard question to answer because I could say I do so many things. I know I introduced myself as a graphic designer, but there are so many other things that make me who I am. So I could easily say that I'm a blogger, I'm a sister, I'm a wife, photographer, and maybe even after today I could say public speaker. We'll have to see how this goes first. But there are so many things, and all those roles that I've played in my life, or all those titles that either I've given myself or somebody else has given to me, I learned different skills that I feel play a huge role in who I am as a business individual or as somebody like an entrepreneur. And that's why I love the word entrepreneur so much, because in my mind it kind of encompasses all that I do to say I do what I love. So much the same as when you're a kid, you are usually asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? Which is kind of a big question for such a young kid. Usually changes probably week to week. I do recall when I was a kid, when my mom asked me, I told her I wanted to own my own ice cream shop. Granted, it was because I wanted to eat all the ice cream, but that's besides the point. The fact that even then I said that I wanted to own a shop spoke volumes about who I was. Now this might be something that kind of goes unnoticed to most, but that was definitely something that I found carried on with me. So I had always had that all or nothing attitude. Now this all or nothing attitude followed me throughout my life, and even as I got older and I wanted to try new things, I wanted to go for it. I just wanted to give 100% in everything that I did. So I wanted to try tap dancing. My parents signed me up for class, and after a couple classes, they asked me if I was enjoying myself, and I told them that it was boring. They were teaching me heel, toe, and I wanted to do this. I wanted to be able to dance my heart out, and I wanted to look fabulous, basically. So my parents would later put a piece of plywood in the basement, and that satisfied my dancing fever. But you know, on one hand, you could look at it and say that this showed that I was extremely impatient, or you could look at it and say that I was extremely motivated. So it just depends how you want to look at it, and I like to look at it that I was very motivated. So this takes me back to the ice cream shop, or I just like talking about ice cream. I haven't really decided yet. So I didn't realize the time and the money and the hard work that goes into something like that, but at least I knew that I wanted to reach that far. You know, anyone could work at an ice cream shop, but I wanted to own one. I was always looking for that bigger thing. So that followed me throughout my life as I went into college and I graduated through graphic design. I moved to Ottawa and Kingston and got graphic design jobs there. But I did work for myself a lot of the time when I didn't have work. So that was kind of the start of it, was freelancing as a designer. And even as I landed a position at Tree Frog Inc. as a designer, I always wanted something that was my own, something that was unique for me and something that I could enjoy doing in my spare time. And that's when I decided to start We3 Collective. So I reached out to the community to find out what I had to do to start this business. You know, how do I register a name? What are the paths that I could take? In the end, after learning a bunch of information and talking to a whole bunch of different people, I decided that I just wanted to keep it as something I did on the side that I could do that didn't feel like work and was more of something I enjoyed and that I could share with my community. So to get started, I created an Instagram page, a Facebook page, a blog, a website, and of course a logo, because as a designer, that's probably the first thing that I think about. So I started that, and as I move forward, I decided that, yeah, it was just going to be something that I did on the side and just something that I could share with my community. And I do want to point out that, my journey is probably really different from lots of the other people's here, but nobody's journey is going to be the same, and that doesn't mean that yours isn't valuable or you're not going to be on a successful path. So as I started We3 Collective, I decided to push myself into making sure that it was something that I stuck with. I signed myself up for a craft show. It was close to Christmas, and it was probably only 5 months after I started We3, so I had to work my butt off to have enough products out on the table, because I did not want to have a sad, lonely booth at a craft show with like 3 products. So I worked my butt off, and I'm proud to say that it went really well, and we got a really good following after that show. So yeah, you just have to follow your heart, and if you honestly feel like you can do it, you can. So I'm just going to leave you guys with some points that I have that excuse me, things that I've gained along the way, and points that maybe some of you will find valuable. Like I said, maybe some of you haven't started. Hopefully these can help you feel like you want to start, or if you already are in your journey, maybe there's some tips here that will be helpful to you. So for my first tip is value your skills and be yourself. So at the beginning, I was listing a few titles that I give myself, whether it's, like I said, assistant or photographer. Use those titles and find the skills and the characteristics that are asked of you from those, and see how they can motivate you and work for you in your business. So for instance, I have photography skills, that maybe that's what helped me sell some products, because I could take good pictures. Find what strengths you have and use them to your ability to help boost your business. People are going to tell you that you should dress a certain way or act a certain way, depending obviously on the line of business that you're in. But I honestly, truly believe that you should just be yourself, because that's going to attract the people that you want to work with, and people are going to appreciate that you're being yourself, and they'll just warm up to you that much easier. So that's one thing I've definitely learned. The next point I'd like to make to you guys today is take chances. Much like I'm doing right now, I'm definitely not a public speaker, but it's so important to take chances, because that's what's going to help you grow in your business. Push yourself outside that comfort zone, because it's so easy to stay within it. People are going to tell you, you have a job that you might not like your job, but it's safe. You should just stay in it. But if you honestly are unhappy, or you feel deep down that you can do it, you probably can. So sometimes I think it's really important that you should take that leap of faith, because it's all going to work out in the end. Next, you should find a good support system. I'm really lucky that I have family and friends around me who support everything I do. Right from the start, my husband told me that he was behind me no matter what I wanted to do, and he always is there to motivate me in what I'm doing. So I think it's so important, because when the times get hard, your family and your friends are going to be who you need. And I even said acquaintances in here, because you'll be surprised at who you can reach out to in the community and how they can become a huge support system for you. Make a plan and set goals. I'm the type of person, as you could tell from my tap dancing or my sewing, I don't really like to make a plan. But I think it is very important, especially when you have a business. So maybe write down where you see yourself in 2 weeks, 5 months, 2 years, and write down how you're going to reach those goals. And as you slowly cross those things off your list, you're going to be so happy that you're actually accomplishing these things, and your goals are just going to get bigger and bigger, and you're going to see your business really flourishing. And in the end, it's really going to pay off. Do your research. Research, again, is something that's really important. Go to your communities, see what kind of stuff they offer to you, see how you can better yourself. Lots of this will seem like a lot of work and time that you're putting into it, but in the long run, it's going to benefit both you and your business, and it's going to be really valuable information that you can use. So that's really important. The last point I would like to give to you guys is enjoy the process. Life can be difficult, and it can make you feel unmotivated at times, and there can be times when you're trying to start your business and you feel really hard on yourself, or you're super stressed out and you're not thinking it's worth it. But in the end, it's all going to pay off, because if it's something that you really, really love, then it's going to make your life 10 times better. Because I'm sure lots of us here would rather try than not trying at all, and always wondering, having that if in the back of your mind. And that's where I got to the point that I said, if I don't try, I'm never going to know how successful I could be, or maybe the difference that I could make in somebody else's life. So I think you really have to just try to smile and enjoy the process. Now I want to leave you with a quote from the great Nick Offerman. Follow your gut, make a choice, and throw yourself into it. If you make a mistake, then you've merely afforded yourself a valuable lesson. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Kyleigh.